What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Twigger coming at you with another pro game commentary. This game coming from a very, very recent game that just happened between M5, which is of course Moscow 5, the great team out of Russia, and Meet Your Makers. A great, great game is going to be had today. Alex Each playing his very well-known AP Evelyn in the mid. I'm going to just start this bad boy out because I can't wait to see what happens. I have not viewed this game yet, so I have no idea what's going to happen. So I'm very excited to see what goes on. I'm going to set up these champions for you guys once I actually figure out where everybody goes. That would be the support. Let's put the support down at the bottom. The jungler up there, the two tops, and there we go. We're actually all set up here. So hopefully by this point in the game, everybody knows who Moscow 5 is. An absolutely incredible team who really kind of made their mark at IEM Kiev, which was just outstanding. I believe they only actually lost one game in that entire tournament, and that was to TSM in the finals. So an incredibly strong team, and they always seem to put their best foot forward when it comes to these tournaments. I am going to turn the sound up just a little bit, so maybe you guys can hear a little bit of the ambient noise. Maybe even just a little bit more than that. I know some people like to hear the pings and things like that, so maybe even I can know where to look. So Alex Each is kind of in a dangerous position here. Don't know if the other team can spot him yet, but it was definitely close. So there we go. Genja just getting a little bit of poke into that enemy Nunu. So we have that defense, well, more offensive ward. It's kind of the interesting thing about these pre-minute 55 wards is that they're kind of defensive and offensive. They're defensive because you know where the jungler is, so you're not going to get ganked as easily, but they're also kind of offensive in that if you see the jungler's low going for his red buff, it's your cue to kind of come in. Now Charu, I don't know a whole lot about Meet Your Makers, but I have heard that Charu is one of the apparently the best AP mids out there. Now I'm not going to actually say AP right now because he is playing Jace if he goes into the mid, so a little bit different than I think what he's used to playing. But as you can see, Meet Your Makers giving Miss Fortune a very, very early red buff, and look at what Meet Your Makers is doing. They're sending Jace down bottom, and they're giving a red buff to Miss Fortune and Nunu up against Alex Each in the mid. So oh, that's just going to be so difficult for Evelyn to deal with. I really wonder if M5 is going to know to do this the switch and go to mid with Genja and Gosu Pepper. So Darian playing the Elise. Elise is a very, very weird champion, I find. A lot of promise, and I think it takes a very long time to get incredible with her. I think she's one of those champions that has a very high skill cap, and when you get incredible at her and when you master her, she can do so much damage. She has great escape potential. Overall, just a great champion, but I find it's also very, very easy, as I've learned from first-hand experience. It is very easy to suck with that champion if you don't know what you're doing. But as we can see, Mundo just came in here and stole away Diamond Prox's blue. Sorry, blue, his red. So pretty ballsy maneuver doing that counter invade against, which we could say probably the king of counter invades. Invades is that M5 Diamond Prox. I can never really know what his name is going to be. Now it's Diamond, probably because they had to insert that Ben Q after they got sponsored again. But he was Diamond before, and then he was Diamond Pro, and then he was Diamond Prox. And I don't know. I'm going to call him Diamond Prox because that's what I'm used to. But as we can see, Mundo just heading back right now. Got those two buffs very, very quickly, and it's actually a great position for Mundo to be in because, as you can remember, MYM did give their red buff over to Miss Fortune, so Mundo was going to be ganking without a red buff, which isn't exactly the greatest. Mundo does have his cleavers to slow targets down, so he does have great ganking potential, but with that red buff after you the cleaver, the slows are just fantastic, so you really want your Mundo jungler to have that red buff. So now he does have it because he just stole it away from Diamond Prox, so good job, Mundo. So looking up at top lane again, Darian's starting to take some damage on this this Olaf, but he didn't actually get his true damage off there, so I wonder what happened there. But as we can see, MYM just pushing Alex Each's tower, already down to less than half HP. And as we can see, Ashe and Lulu just not getting anywhere near the amount of damage they want onto this bot lane turret. And yep, MYM, now Mundo is up here too, and they're just going to take down this turret early. A 4-minute and 41-second turret, so very, very scary stuff. And we're seeing a ward down here as well, just so they know where the lane is at all times, even if they don't have creeps on there. They're also going to see Diamond Prox as he kind of runs between these two paths. So, oh, look at that, threading the needle, Mundo, with that damn cleaver. Oh, and I missed the first blood. You would miss the first blood, Twigger. You have no idea what you're doing. Oh, and I missed it again. So I had to miss it twice, apparently. So Lulu taking a turret shot there. Don't know what that was about. Just kind of got a little bit too close. But as we can see, Charu is nearly full HP. He's been chugging down those pots, and he does have that crystalline flask first. So I guess this is what happens. So flash and knock back from Genja, and Genja has no idea that these two are coming down. So there's just going to be a lot of damage coming down here. Genja gets taken out. Are they going to have enough to take down Gosu Pepper as well? The slow from Nunu is out. There goes the exhaust onto Gosu Pepper's Lulu. A lot of damage being done onto Nunu, and no, it is actually not going to be enough to take down either Nunu or Lulu. So other than that, great play for that first blood from Meet Your Makers. As you can see, there were no wards up here from Gosu Pepper on M5 to actually see Misfortune coming down from that. So just really nicely played. Alexish going to try to get some damage down onto Mundo, but gets hit by that cleaver, and then as you can see, just so slow. But wow, actually he manages to burn the flash from Mundo, so I guess Mundo was really scared of maybe that flash ignite or something like that being able to take him out. So don't know if the flash was all that necessary, but I guess it's better just safe than sorry. Rather just lose the flash than lose your red buff as well. So Mundo's just having a good time running around doing his jungling, and it's really just a bully fest and farm fest up top. So giving a little preliminary view of the creep score. Up top, it is pretty much dead even between Olaf and Elise, 33-32 in favor of Darien. In terms of the junglers, 32-26, damn near even, but in favor of Diamond Prox. In the, well, now what is in the mid, 29-23 for in favor of Charu. So even in that 2v1 lane, Jace is just such a good 2v1 farmer that he's actually managed to do really well in the farm game. And in the bottom lane, here's where quite a big difference is, 42 for MF to 26 on Ashe. So there's where a lot of the difference is coming from. And as we can see, there's already nearing a probably about a 1.5k gold lead for Meet Your Makers. So that goes with the turret and that first blood already making their mark against M5. And as we can see, Charu just coming down again, even dropping a pink ward just to make sure that he wasn't spotted there. And they're just going to 3-man push this turret. So M5 just doesn't really seem to have a response to this. They seem to be playing quite passively considering how aggressive of a team they normally are. They're just really kind of sitting back and taking it. Diamond Prox is now level 6, so we can expect to see those Malphite ganks come out more frequently and have quite an impact. And there have been no attempts on this dragon, so expect to see that coming out pretty darn soon. MYM just has so much map dominance now. And as you can see, Charu is just everywhere. He's now taking this top turret out with Kuban on Olaf. And it's going to be left with 382 HP, so that tower is not going to last for much longer. So with this siege minion doing... Nope, it's just going to attack the spiders, and it's going to have nothing to do with the tower. So Mundo being chased a little bit here by Alexicha and Diamond Prox, but nothing's going to come from it. Mundo is just too damn fast with that ultimate on. And here's MF getting a second red buff, so they are really making sure to keep that red buff on MF and just keep her dominance going, because right now having that first blood and having 11 CS over top of that Ashe and all that global gold from the turrets that have been taken down, she's going to be very hard to deal with. Now MF, I find, is one of those champions that has an incredibly strong early and slight mid game, but I find that she does tend to fall off in the late game. So, and Ashe just gets stronger and stronger, so I find she has quite a bad early game, a decent mid game, but her late game, Ashe's arrow is probably one of the best initiates in the game. So correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I think Ashe will win later in the game if M5 manages to survive that long. But the kind of issue being, just looking at late game versus mid game and early game champions, Olaf is an incredible late game champion. Elise is quite strong late game. Malphite is quite strong late game. both teams have quite a lot of late game potential. What is going to be very interesting, though, is to see if Gosu Pepper tries to kind of time his ultimate with Diamond Prox's ultimate, or whether he's just going to solely be using it to save his carries like Alex Each and Genja. Because one thing I have seen, kind of like the Orianna ball, is when Malphite runs into the team, uses his unstoppable force and knocks them all up, and then Lulu knocks them right back up afterwards if Malphite's gotten a good ultimate down, and they're going to be CC'd for a good, God, I don't even know how long, at least 5 seconds. So be looking to see something like that if Diamond is not exactly tanky enough to be diving into all 5. But as we can see, there's the Dragon attempt from Meet Your Makers, doing quite a bit of damage to it, but there is a purple ward down here from M5, and they've actually managed to push MYM off of it for right now. MYM just did not want to take all the damage from the Dragon while being attacked by M5, but Olaf, you see, has made his way down here, so it's going to be a 5-on-4 no matter what, because Darien has not moved from the top lane and he does not have teleport. So I think this is probably going to be a free Dragon for MYM. There's the damage coming down now. Now they have vision of it, but nope, they are not going to be able to challenge that whatsoever. So free Dragon for MYM. And it's just going to go back to farming for M5. There's not really a whole lot that they can do, and surprisingly, it's been such a low kill game. But as you guys can already see, over a 2,000 gold lead for MYM, so quite an impressive little thing. And look at how fast Olaf even got back up to lane. Darien did not get much damage on that turret at all. I think once they knew that they were going to be getting that Dragon uncontested, Olaf just started immediately walking back up the top, because one thing you'll see very, very frequently is when the opposing team knows that the others are going for Dragon, they will just push that top lane and make sure that they get that turret down. There's a lot of damage going onto that Mundo. Burns his flash, but Evelyn also burns his flash, but great arrow from Genja, but Alex Each should not follow it up quite yet. Oh, if Alex Each was only following. So Mundo is now running away as fast as he can. He does have about a quarter of his HP left, and Alex is trying to get into him. It's going to be very interesting to see where Mundo goes. I think it's very possible that Mundo might actually just try to commit suicide here, because I don't think there's any way that he's getting out of this alive. So, yep, he's just going to come in here and try to sacrifice himself to the turret. Hopefully it's been long enough. Yes, it has been long enough. So, just making sure that M5 did not get the gold for that kill. He'll just go in and kill himself because he was stuck. Kind of unfortunate that Alex Each didn't follow Mundo for longer than he needed to. There was a little bit of, it seemed to be a miscommunication from Alex Each and Genja. Genja hit just such an incredible arrow onto that Mundo, and if Alex Each were there, she would have been able to finish him off, but he backed off just knowing that he wasn't going to be able to catch him. So don't know if Alex Each expected that arrow to come out. Great slow from Genja, but it is not going to happen. Alex Each burned his flash on that, trying to get that Mundo kill, so there goes a dead Evelyn. So not looking too good for Moscow 5. Looks like they're getting a little bit outplayed here. Diamond Proc just getting his wolves, trying to keep on farming up. I think Moscow 5 is starting to kind of realize that the only way that they're really going to get this is just by farming up and waiting until maybe even like the 25-minute mark or something like that, where they might have a little bit of power, moving towards more of the late game. It looks like what they're going to have to do is just catch. You're hoping at this point that when Baron spawns, MYM will just want to go and get that Baron. And I think M5 is going to need them to start the Baron and take quite a bit of damage from Baron, and then hopefully they either get the Unstoppable Force, Smite Steal, or they manage to clean up an ace or something like that while they're tanking Baron. But other than that, I don't know how you come back from what's currently going on besides just farming and waiting your ass off until late game. So nice little Lulu shield. Good guy Gosu. But as we can see in the creep score, just do a kind of a mid-game check on this this creep score. At least Darien has actually managed to pull ahead by about 20 CS over that Olaf. It's pretty much still even around these junglers, even though Mundo has ganked quite a few times. 84 to 74, so Alex Each has managed to pull ahead of Charu. And in the bottom is the big, big difference. 113 for MF to the 87 of Genja. So that's where the big difference is coming from this creep farm. And it looks like, I think we're going to have a fight around this red buff if nope. They're just going to allow MF to take that one and run her ass out of there. So it's kind of interesting that back in Kiev, for anybody who watched that, M5 were pretty much the owners of the jungle. Not only their jungler, but the opponent's jungler, and none of the teams, especially the American teams, had any idea how to deal with it. There was such great team play between Moscow 5, and they were always in the enemy's jungle, and it was quite impressive. Nunu using his ultimate to try to slow down Diamondprox there, but Diamondprox actually has to use his ultimate to get away from that, so this is a great opportunity. And wow, Genja actually got down so low that Lulu had to use her ultimate on Genja, so this is now a perfect time for MYM to be pushing, because there are two huge ultimates down now. So they have a solid minute before they are, M5 is going to probably feel comfortable with fighting, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to push down this second turret, this third turret actually, and take down that inhibitor. Darien just coming back from lane to try to defend this, because he now realizes how crucial of a situation this is. If they get this turret and they get this inhibitor at 15 some odd minutes, that's going to be a big hit on Moscow 5. They're not going to be allowed to leave their base, and they're not going to be able to farm their jungle creeps. So big Q going on to Alex Each from that Jace, taking a lot of damage. How are they actually going to get out of this one? There's so much damage coming out from that acceleration gate and that Q. But here comes Diamondprox running in, but he doesn't have his ultimate, so the engage potential from M5 has just been shot down completely. And MYM, so Mundo using his ultimate just to gain that health back, but actually taking quite a bit of damage. At least jumping in there. 5v1. Is he going to manage to take it out? The Ignite ticking down. It's not going to be enough, though, to go through Mundo's ultimate, so Mundo running away with under 200 HP, so that was quite unfortunate. I really hoped that Darien was going to kind of seal that kill, but it was not enough. But good try. Balls of Steel on Darien there, just going in 1v5 with Elise's E and not caring in the slightest. But here are a couple members of Meet Your Makers just kind of out in purgatory here. I wonder if Moscow 5, they do actually know this Dragon Timer, and Mundo and Olaf have gone back to base, so maybe this will be a good attempt for Moscow 5 to get a little bit of global gold, but it's possible that these three members of MYM are going to have enough presence to kind of push them off. And if Moscow 5 doesn't have the damage to take this down quickly, Mundo and Olaf are going to be breathing down their necks, so great Q from Jace to try to take that one down, but Diamondprox's smite was up, and they just took that one down without a problem. Now it looks like MYM is going to try to chase down the rest of M5, and wow, great Q coming down onto Gosu Pepper, and there's the flash in from the Jace. Great flash from Gosu Pepper, and his ultimate is now up again, just put on the wrong side of Jace, so once again, Genja being kind of caught out of position here. But great heal, managing to go straight through that Q, so actually managing to survive with under 100 HP, so way to go, Genja. But while all that was happening, Mundo and MF just decided to come up here and take down this turret. So not very good. Diamondprox now on Malphite does have his Unstoppable Force up, so they have a little bit more engage potential, but they're going to have this inhibitor down, and they're just going to back on out of here. Darien is once again up top farming. He does have quite a commanding CS lead over that Olaf, but fact of the matter is, when you look at all the global gold that MYM has gotten over the past few minutes, they're already almost 4,000 gold ahead of Moscow 5, so the kind of commanding CS is not really going to be a huge difference, because if my calculations are correct, yeah, look at that, it's just barely in the lead. So even with that much of a CS lead, only ahead by about 100 gold. Actually, now, not even now. Oh, look at that, Olaf has taken the lead. Way to go, Olaf. Just proving me wrong. But if we look at everybody's gold here, the highest member is just sitting in the 4,200s, while the highest member is sitting at 6,500, being that Misfortune on Meet Your Makers. So quite a substantial difference between the highest members of each team. So gonna need to see how Moscow 5 plays this out. I've never really known Moscow 5 for being that sit-in and turtle team. That's more along the lines of CLGEU or CLGNA. Moscow 5 likes to dominate that early game and just constantly have their enemy on the back foot, but for one of the few times I've seen it, Moscow 5 is actually on the back foot, and that's so upsetting, but Diamond actually had to smite that just to make sure that it didn't get stolen by Meet Your Makers. So here comes Alexei trying to do a lot of damage to Nunu. Nunu is going to pop his ultimate to try to keep them away for their carries, and Moscow 5 now has to run away, even though Nunu is so low, and quite a few members of their team have been taking a lot of damage, but Moscow 5, I guess, just did not like their odds in that fight. So kind of a surprising little turn of events, or I would have expected them to stay in a little bit longer after Olaf and Nunu had gotten so low. But Moscow 5, I guess, needed to come back here and clean up the super creeps and make sure that their base was all right. They're probably just going to try to farm up a little bit more and kind of guarantee themselves that late game power rather than even remotely try to win early. So it looks like they actually gotten the home guard on Alex H. So I think he kind of realizes how important it's going to be for him to be able to heal up and then get right back into lane. For those of you who don't know, when you are at the fountain and have been out of combat for 8 seconds, you gain full health, mana, and a 200% movement speed boost for 8 seconds. So, not too shabby. So, Alex H is basically just going to be healing up and then running as fast as he can into whatever fight he can. And look at that. They just have the timing down on this red buff down to a T. So, MF once again picking that up. Diamond is taking a lot of damage from this Olaf. And Olaf just keeps on hitting those axes, and there's the cleaver onto Diamond. Is Diamond going to have to use his ultimate? He doesn't even... Oh, his ultimate isn't even up. I don't even know when he used that. Maybe to escape earlier, or... I don't remember there being engaged like that, but look at the damage also going down onto Alex H. There's the Q, but the Q actually misses from Jace, but MF just kind of pumps in, pokes her head out and says, F you, Jace, this is my kill. Great arrow going down onto MF, but oh, Darian. That's the one problem with, I find the E of Elise, is that when you go up and she's just barely out of range of that circle, it's pretty much just disabling you for, what, a couple seconds? You end up just going into the air and staying there and not doing a damn thing, so you made a fool out of yourself, Darian. So, kind of kill stealing from Charu there, that MF just taking that kill, and it looks like Jay is now 0-0-3, so I'm sure he wishes that he had a couple kills under his belt, but you're not going to complain with getting your MF a little bit more fed. That's pretty funny. The Q actually even missed on that Baron. Looks like they're not actually going to go for it. They just wanted to clear out those wards, and it's going to force Darian to come down here and possibly put a ward over top of that Baron, because they're going to need to have some sort of vision of it. If there's the ward down into that brush, they are going to need to know when MYM goes for that Baron, because the amount of damage that Meteor Makers is doing, they're going to take down that Baron so quickly. The main issue... excuse me. The main issue here being... Oh my god, can't even talk. Whew. Excuse me. You know when you try to swallow and it just goes completely down the wrong pipe? Yep, that's what happened there. Oh no, Lulu! Red buffed MF! Run, Lulu, run! You have to burn your ultimate and your flash. Try to get away from that one. God, that's not good. Poor Gosu Pepper. And oh my god, Nunu is going to find Gosu. That's not good. Run, Gosu Pepper, run! Run! Use your speed. Do everything you can. Nunu actually laughing at Gosu Pepper. So, a little bit of bad sportsmanship there. Don't know if there's a history between these two teams. Maybe if you happen to know anything about these two teams, if there's a history or anything like that, post it in the comment section. Let everybody know, because I don't know if it was just bad sportsmanship laughing at Gosu, or maybe this is just for fun here. But one of the very few times I've seen Moscow 5 not even having a kill on the board. So that's incredible. And look at that, the flash from Mundo burns the flash on Elise, so really not a bad use of it. Very ballsy just to flash right over the wall to try to make something happen there. But I guess it's just that gamer sense, knew that Elise was in there. They didn't have a ward in that brush, so they didn't actually know. He did hit a cleaver and then just popped right on over, so... Look at that, another turret going down. Charu just taking that out by himself with the help of a couple creeps. And the dragon is up, so here goes MYM to just try to get more gold, try to push that advantage further and further. Alex G trying to scope this one out, but he is not going to have enough to do this. And just a few shots, and that Q from Jace just missing Alex. So, boy, MYM is just completely dominating this round. 32k to 27k, so 5k gold lead. Genja trying to do his best to farm up to the level that MF is at right now, 165 to 127, 400 MF to the 010 Genja on Ashe. So, I must say this isn't the best game I've seen Genja play. Genja is one of my favorite AD carries because he's always just so powerful. But this game, he's kind of getting a little bit outplayed here. And kind of a funny sight seeing that Elise with the rocket shoes with those home guard boots. And look at that, Gosu Pepper once again taking a little chunk of damage from that Jace. I wonder if MYM is going to go for this Baron. It's kind of a... This is kind of the precarious situation, and it's going to say a lot about MYM when they decide to do it or not. they're in such a commanding lead right now that it's not necessary for them to take Baron. They have such a commanding lead that Baron it kind of seals the deal, but it's also the place that M5 can make a comeback. Like I was saying before, if Malphite jumps in and uses his Unstoppable Force and his Smite, let's just see. Malphite does 300 damage, and then so about 1,090 damage that he could be doing to Baron. At least 1,000 damage. So it's kind of difficult when all that Mundo has is his Smite. If Diamond procs, and he is such a good jungler, he could possibly steal that, and then if they stole Baron, then that's the start to a comeback for M5. So I think MYM is just not even going to bother going for this Baron and just keep on the aggression. And not even allow M5 that chance to come back, because if they just keep pushing, keep the aggression going, take down this middle inhibitor, have the super creeps coming into M5's base constantly, and they have 2 open turrets here, just guarding the other inhibitors for top and bottom lane. So if they take down maybe bottom lane inhibitor, which is highly possible, then I would expect them to go for Baron once it gets to the point where M5 really can't leave their base without losing their Nexus turrets from super creeps. So I think that's more what MYM is going for. A lot of damage going on to Gosu Pepper, going to be very tough for Moscow 5 doing. Look at that damage from Jace's Q. Oh, just painful to me. It just seems to be so damn accurate with that thing too. So once again, a lot of damage going on to people like Gosu Pepper and even Diamond Prox, who's meant to be the tank, taking a lot of damage from Jace. And they're just slowly but surely using their range to take down that turret. Mundo using his ultimate, he just wants to be more at full, closer to full HP for any type of engage that Diamond Prox might throw his way. And once again, doing a lot of damage to that Malphite. And as you can see, boom, hello red buff. And they're going to take it out, and it actually looks like they're going to be giving it over to Olaf rather than Misfortune. Misfortune running up here just to clear these creeps because she wants the monies. So Olaf taking that red buff, Misfortune taking these creeps. You know, after these creeps, she's going to be damn near 200 CS, so she's going to be just in a dominant position. Is her Bloodthirster? It's almost full. No, it actually is fully stacked. I forgot they, I think they did the little nerf on the Bloodthirster, didn't they? Yeah, they did. It used to be 40. So MF having that fully stacked Bloodthirster, has the Last Whisper and a Zeal. So not only is her attack damage and movement speed really fast, but oh wow, the first kill for M5. I am going to have to watch this because that is crucial, and I think I went a tad bit too far. So there we go. So Jace is going to be running down here. Looks like he's just going to try to clean up these creeps. I might have even come back a little bit too far for this anyways, but I feel like the first kill from M5 needs to be put on a pedestal, and we will frame this out very nicely. So, setting the stage. Let's paint a picture. So, surprising actually, Charu is at pretty much full health and full mana, so it's going to be interesting to see how Alex Each managed to take this one out, because Charu is sitting at 143 to Alex Each is 160, but has 3. So, he's not really that far ahead. So Alex Each is just going to come in here. A lot of damage being done to both champions. There's the ultimate from Alex. The flash coming out from Charu. Realizes that he might die. But look at how fast Alex Each is. Manages to take him out. Flashes out of range of the turret. One more turret shot probably would have killed him, but he manages to get that flash out and survive. So first kill for Mascot 5 going to Alex Each on that Evelynn. So he must be feeling pretty proud of that one. Probably wish he had done a little bit better in that early game. But all in all, he has not played horribly, I have to say. He was put in such a bad early game position with that 2v1 lane with Misfortune, having that red buff. So I have to say, only dying twice on Evelynn during that entire exchange, not too bad. It's been quite a low kill game. Now Nunu running around with this Oracles. As you guys know, Oracles now does, I believe, have, what, a 5-minute timer on it, so it will die after 5 minutes. So it's added an interesting dynamic to the game, that before you had people like CLG EU's Snoopy and the Odd One and things like that. They would buy a very early Oracles, and as long as they didn't die, they'd have that Oracles for such a long period of time, and they would clear out so many early game wards, which allow ganks to happen. But with that 5-minute Oracles that's now in place, you can't really buy that very early game Oracles unless you were using it for a very specific reason, because that 400 gold at the very beginning of the game is so much money. So I think the only reason he's really buying it now is because they know Baron is the next main objective. They need to clear out these wards. It's going to happen within the next 5 minutes. Yep, as you can see, they're doing it right now. And I think their mindset right now is that M5 is so far behind that they really can't afford an Oracles for themselves. So I'm going to take down this little bar because I think this is probably going to be a pretty big fight. So arrow landing onto Mundo, not the target that you wanted to hit, but Gosu Pepper being taken so low. Diamond Prox can't really find his engage. He has to use it on MF and Olaf, but the other rest of the members of M5 aren't really there to follow up on that. Alex H now taking a lot of damage. The Nunu buff goes off onto Genja. Diamond Prox is now just so low, manages to get taken down by that that shot from MF. The flash coming off from MF as well. Now Darian's going to be up in the air. He's going to come down and he's going to die. And look at that. There's the kill from Olaf. A quadra kill coming down on for that MF. Too bad it wasn't a penta. That would have been such a great way to kind of end the game. But it looks like the game is going to end there. M5 really has nothing else that they can do. They're going to take down those Nexus turrets, and it's only going to be Gosu Pepper coming up in 1 second, and I really don't think that he can take 4 members of MYM. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that game. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. The Ignite going down on Olaf, trying to take him down, but Meet Your Makers ends up taking down M5 in a dominating fashion, 10-2. 41k to 34k. So been a long time since I've seen Moscow 5 be dominated like that. So MYM definitely a team that we should be paying attention to, and I would love to see them in the tournament games and see how well they fare against other teams. But Moscow 5 going to need to change up the dynamic a little bit if they're going to want to be in contention to some of these up and coming teams. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that game, and I will see you in the next professional game commentary. Peace, guys.